This video is about my personal journey to the far right of the political spectrum, how I broke free of it and came back where I needed to be, where I should have been all along. I'm David Thompson, and yes, I was a right-wing conservative, far right-wing. I was a Fox News junkie. That's where it all started in the 80s with Fox News. They were fair and balanced. Now, they stoked my white male privilege. They gave me a feeling of power, that I wasn't the only one that saw problems with the world. They had ways to solve them. They talked about it, and they made me feel like I was needed among them, that I was part of a group. So I moved right, far right. So I hitched my wagon to every conservative talk show host I can find. Rush Limbaugh, a local guy named Jim Quinn. Of course, on Fox News, it was Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, Neil Cavuto, and we can't forget the Fox Morning Show with them lovely ladies that showed every inch of their legs that they could without being arrested. How did that all go? These people had all the answers. Of course they did. Now, I began watching Fox News in the 80s because they offered a program that made me feel good, as I said. They offered fair and balanced news, and they promoted the fact that they were fair and they were balanced, but they had the right news, the right-wing news. But who really influenced me in my trip to the right was Ronald Reagan. Now, even though I should have known better, I followed this Pied Piper of the right-wing conservative world into uncharted territory. Many people did. See, in my early years, I was a JFK liberal. I grew up a Democrat, a liberal Democrat. My mother was a Democrat. My uncles and aunts were Democrats. My whole family was. Our town was. I stood against the Vietnam War, racism, the military-industrial complex, and, of course, corporate greed. But I drank the poison, and I believed all their conspiracy theories. Believe me, most of what they said, and still say, is based in conspiracy and conspiracy theories. Now, just like today, back then, many of these conservative news anchors were considered Christians, or they considered themselves Christians, though they mixed in their Christianity with right-wing political ideology and conspiracy theories as they do today. Now, I have to say this, that much of what many of these Christians on TV, Christian pastors, Christian evangelists, go down the list, many of what these people are teaching goes against 2,000 years of Christian dogma. A lot of it is inaccurate, a lot of it is misleading, and a lot of it is dangerous. I was fooled big time. I can see now that Ronald Reagan opened the political floodgates to corporate and Wall Street money. They bankrolled conservative candidates. This is where it all began. This is where the foundation of this right-wing Christian nationalist agenda started to take root, with the right candidates in the right places. Of course, who else helped? Evangelicals, evangelical churches. They all believe the same thing, that we need to protect Israel, that we need to fund Israel, that we need to get rid of immigrants, that we need to eliminate safety nets, that we need to make people work for themselves and pull themselves up by their bootstraps. These people are evil, that Democrats are evil, that liberals are evil, that all these things that they stood against have to be stopped. So they got involved as well, and from their pulpits they preached against everything that the Democrats believed in. They preached against, whether they knew it or not, the New Deal. Just saying. And if you didn't know, one of the biggest policy statements Ronald Reagan ever made was that there should be no big government, that big government was evil. Many conservatives loved this. And even today, people still fall back on that the government's too big. Get rid of everybody, which is what Donald Trump is doing right now. And last but not least, we can't forget Ronald Reagan's trickle-down economics plan. That never worked. But I believed all of this. I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. As time passed, more and more right-wing commentators, pastors, evangelical churches, conservative people of all likes and status, all joined in against the evils, against socialism and communism that the Democrats were pushing. The welfare state and immigration, these people stood against it, and they needed to stop it. This gave rise to Christian nationalism, of course, which is the political arm of the Republican Party, including militias. These are all the people that stormed the Capitol building on January 6th. This was the core group. This was MAGA. I even went along with Ronald Reagan firing the air traffic controllers. Whatever side you fall on with that particular incident, I truly believe now it was the start of something bigger. This was the first attack on Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal. Ronald Reagan fired the first salvo. But even as Donald Trump campaigned for the 2016 election, I started to have a bad feeling about it. I didn't trust him. But everybody says, they always tell me, you vote for the least of two evils. The Democrats are the most evil, or the most hideous, or devils, or demons. They're communists. They're going to take our children. They promote homosexuality and abortion. So I had to vote for Donald Trump. Of course, that was crazy talk. I now know that. But he took office. And what did he use? Conspiracy theories, exaggerations. Do you remember his first term was a disaster? He downplayed COVID. Use bleach in your veins. It'll cure the disease. But see, even before Bill Clinton took office back in the day, the country was already moving right. Clinton, the Democrat, helped that along. I would tell people, hey, he started to cut back on public assistance on the welfare state. He enacted tough crime policies, both of which now I realize was a bad idea. The tough crime policies unjustly burdened poor and people of color. And of course, remember, he also deregulated Wall Street. What went wrong from there? How many crashes have we had? Again, deregulation is their friend. No one wants to believe that regulation is necessary because that's another conspiracy theory. Regulations hurt business. Yes, but they protect people. They protect the environment. Which would you rather have? I guess you made your choice. Now, before I move on with the video, I want to let you know that we have a sister channel. It's called Nights Around the Fire. There we discuss mysteries, legends, and myths. It's me, Sue Taylor, and Ashley Hamilton. We have a bunch of videos out there. I have a link in the description box. Go to the channel. I know you'll enjoy it. Let's get back to this video. So all this right-wing fake information, their narrative, pushed me and much of the country to the right. Today, the spectrum from the left to the right is the longest it's been in the history of our country. The right is so far from the middle that I can't even explain the distance. You can't see them from where we're at. Now, though I realize the Democratic Party did fail, and they did, they failed their constituents. They moved way too far left. Now, I understand that the people that they tried to serve, LGBTQ, immigrants, transgender people, whatever else they stood for, these people need a voice as well. But the Democratic Party stood too far to the left. They left the middle class and the poor behind. Through it all, I realized that the Democratic Party failed its constituents, the middle class and the poor, and moved too far to the left. Now, keep in mind, those people that are transgender, LGBTQ+, and even immigrants, they need a voice as well. But the Democrats moved way too far left and left everybody else holding the bag. Many deserted. People like me went to the Republican Party. So I began to change in Donald Trump's first term. As I mentioned, I didn't trust him. He screwed that up. It was a disaster. But for me, it got worse. I started to see even more chinks in his armor. Now, he lost the election in 2020. I heard people say it was stolen. This was a big topic among many of my conservative friends. It was stolen. It was stolen from him. There's no evidence of it. Until I went back and did my own research. It was not stolen. There was a record turnout, and people just did not want Donald Trump. His first term was a failure. It was a disaster. But this led to the January 6th insurrection because he believed he won. Donald Trump told his followers on January 6th that he had been cheated out of the election, that they needed to stand for him. They needed to help him change the election results. Go face Congress. Search out Mike Pence. And they did. They stormed the castle. In spite of what people were saying, and mostly that was Fox News, it was Christian nationalists and right-wing militias that stormed the Capitol building. Donald Trump got off. They got off because he pardoned them. He pardoned them. People that went and basically tried to overthrow our government were pardoned. This is a travesty. And again, this also made me realize that I was barking up the wrong tree, that I had the wrong ideology, that I was wrong for many years. Today, I now stand firmly and decisively against Donald Trump, as you can see from my videos. This brings a lot of disdain for me by many people. But I will tell you this, that our country needs freedom. It's designed around freedom in our Constitution. There's no shortcuts to take. Donald Trump wants to take shortcuts. He wants to eliminate people that are his enemies. Today, I read in the paper here that a 30-year-old man who has a work permit was arrested and deported. Nothing wrong. He had a wife and he had kids here. Gone. ICE took him. These were the people we thought would be safe, but no one is safe because guess what? He was brown. This is another problem with this right-wing ideology. Racism. Race plays a massive role in this as well. So I've come full circle. I firmly stand against Donald Trump. I stand against the Republican Party and their right-wing values. I stand against what they believe in, what they're trying to do. I stand for freedom and against tyranny. I am woke, and I admit that I am woke. I've always been woke, and many of you probably are woke as well. But the Republican Party promised you everything, promised you the world, promised to make everything great, to make America great again. They won't keep that promise. They're liars. It's time we stand firm against Donald Trump together. We're going to fight in 2006 and 2008 to bring in people that are like us, like-minded, that believe in freedom, that want to obey the Constitution, that believe everybody has an equal chance. We need to do that together. Yeah, I'm woke, but I'm in good company. Jesus was woke too. It's all the time I have. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Don't forget to watch our sister channel, Nights Around the Fire. Everything's in the description box. God bless you, and I'll see you next time right here on your favorite channel for news, information, analysis, and commentary. The David Tomsic Show.